Hi, I'm Deborah Lamata, and this is Women Entrepreneur Spotlight. I started this podcast because I believe that every woman entrepreneur has a story to tell, and by sharing that story, she could be helping the next woman entrepreneur looking for some guidance. So tune in, get comfortable, and enjoy the series. Hi, and welcome to Women Entrepreneur Spotlight. I am so excited tonight to have Elaine Johnson, and we're going to call her EJ. We have Donna Cheatham, and they are the moms to Maevis. And if you aren't following Maevis on Facebook, it is Maevis The FIP Warrior. And we're going to talk about Maevis in this interview. And I'm really excited about doing that. Not only has Maevis been a warrior of FIP, Maevis was also a rescue kitten. And Donna and EJ, as I said, are Maevis's moms and has rescued not only Maevis, but you have other rescues in your household also. So thank you both. And how are you? And how is Maevis?
We're good. Maevis is doing great. She's been considered cured now for 3 weeks, almost a month.
Wow.
It's been a long journey, but yeah, no, we're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you are welcome. So just to get us warmed up a little bit, I usually ask 2 questions to get us warmed up. But I want to know, this has been a long journey for Maevis and for the both of you. Has there been a silly moment that you can share about Maevis and all this that has made you chuckle?
Yeah, she's gotten to a point where she fetches toys. And when she brings her toys from downstairs to upstairs, she chirps and purrs and that's how we know she's bringing a toy upstairs.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And again, if you want to follow, you have to follow Maevis because she's the sweetest little black cat that I have seen. It is Maevis, the FIP Warrior, and we will get into what the FIP stands for in a little bit. And as I said, Maevis isn't your only rescue, correct?
That is correct. We have 3 other rescue cats. 2 that came from the same rescue, 1 that was actually found we have 7 rescue dogs. We have a rabbit and we have a guinea pig plus a whole flock of chickens.
Oh my gosh. Have you all both had the love of animals? That is great. That is really awesome that you have opened your hearts and opened your home to all those fur babies. Oh my gosh. You said a rabbit too, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is one busy household.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I bet. Oh my gosh. And very busy. And Maevis has certainly proven to be a very special rescue. Would you like to share what you both do when you're not spoiling Maevis?
Well, we both work in pet retail and we like to travel and spoil all of our fur kids.
There's no better way than doing that. Let me tell you. Absolutely 100%. So who helps Maevis write her posts on Facebook?
That would be Donna.
That would be me.
Oh, that is you, Donna? Okay.
Yes,
right.
I am the translator.
Okay. And Maevis does a great job with her posts on Facebook. So we'll get into the journey. Is that what really prompted you to get the word out on FIP to start a page for Maevis?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that there is a cure for it. And going through it firsthand made us realize just how little information there is out there for people that have cats with FIP.
Okay. Yeah. I as I said, I wasn't aware of it until I came across Maevis's page through our mutual friend, Naomi Girk, who connects about 1,001 people throughout Delaware with rescues. So Maevis's story starts as a stray kitten, and there was an organization that took her in and her litter mates. Is that correct?
That is correct. It was her and 4 other kittens, including her mom, and they were taken in by a rescue called Judges Park up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, they're in Pennsylvania. Wow.
Yes.
Now, are you located up north or are you in PA?
We're in Smyrna.
You're in Smyrna. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So Judges? I'm sorry. What was
Park?
Judges Park. And so what is the process when, these rescues, and these rescues are just awesome. I have had the honor of speaking to many different rescues and the organizations themselves. It's a big undertaking, and you have all these rescues. What is the process when these rescues take in a stray or a litter?
Well, Maevis's, they were found, so they were strays. When they get them, they take them to the vet. They have them tested for the diseases that can be tested for, generally feline leukemia and FIV.
FIV, right. Okay.
Yes. And then they're generally vaccinated as long as they're healthy at that point, and the moms are spayed or neutered. And if the kittens are old enough at that point, they're also
So,
spayed or neutered.
which is very, very important. Having these rescues do that, and I talk about this part of it also, does take money. And we'll get into another organization that does do that, raises the funds for the different spay and neutering, and for as the FIP for Maevis also. So once the rescues have been checked out by the vet, what happens from there?
Then if they were strays, they're placed in foster homes to acclimate them, to get them used to living indoors, to get them used to other animals, and to monitor them, make sure that they're healthy, make sure that if they like other cats, then they're placed in a home with other cats. If they get along with dogs, then they're placed in homes with dogs. But a lot of it has to do with the socialization. There are cats that prefer quieter households. There are kittens like Maevis and several of her litter mates. They adore being around kids. They adore a busy household.
Aww.
So the fosters get a feel for the personality.
And that's important also, because you then have somebody that lets you know that, the kitten or a puppy gets along with this, it doesn't get along with that. There's a less chance of, and it does happen. And I understand, want it to happen, but I know that rescues that have been adopted are brought back because either something has happened and you wouldn't know it until they were placed in that home. But having the foster parents is a tremendous help, I would think.
Yes.
And then I have a question that when they are being tested for the FIV and leukemia, are they testing for FIP?
Or
can you test?
Generally, the diagnosis is made based on symptoms.
Okay.
It's based on blood work. It's based on x-rays. It's based on what the cat's symptoms at the time are.
Okay.
So there's not a conclusive test for FIP at this point because there's two forms of it.
Oh, okay. Getting this word out about the FIP is then twice as important if there isn't a test and most people aren't aware of it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So were you looking to adopt another fur baby when you adopted Maevis? And you adopted a second cat also along with Maevis, right?
We did. We did. We adopted two black kittens at the same time. And the reason for that is just like with dogs, cats and dogs that are black are the least adoptable animals, whether it's a dog sitting in a shelter or it's a cat sitting in a foster. They're looked over.
They are. Absolutely. And again, to look at that sweet face, I don't know how, and I'm so glad you didn't look over her. It's really hard. She does. She just has the sweetest little face, and she looks mischievous. And so I'm glad, and I'm glad she has such a great home. I know you said you have the other fur babies at home. One more time, you have 7 dogs.
Mm-hmm. 7 dogs, a total of 4 cats.
Okay.
A rabbit, a guinea pig, and chickens.
I love the chickens too. Oh my goodness gracious. So when were you able to bring Maevis home? How old was she and her sister brother that you brought home?
Yeah, she was 10 to 12 weeks old.
Oh,
and it was another female, so we took the 2 females.
Okay.
And it's easier when you're introducing a cat into the house to introduce to. Whenever we bring a new animal home, they're kind of quarantined. Not necessarily for illness, but to acclimate them into the family.
Okay.
So when you're acclimating 2 of them together, it makes it much easier than one being by itself, maybe in a bedroom. Some people use, bathrooms and that kind of stuff to acclimate them and get them used to everybody else.
Right. I have heard of that. So why not the 2? So when did you start realizing there was something with Maevis?
Probably about day 2 or 3 that we had her. I had said to her, I don't think she's eating as much as Celeste, who is her sister. And, we already, when we had made arrangements to adopt her, we had already set an appointment for the following Friday after we picked her up. We picked them up on a Saturday, and we had an appointment already with our vet, Companion Animal Veterinary in Middletown, for a wellness check, because anytime you adopt, you need to introduce your new pet to your vets. And I think it was about Tuesday or Wednesday, we were like a little bit concerned. So, but we already had the appointment. So we were like, well, we'll just wait it out and see how she does on Friday. So she was not eating, didn't seem to have as much energy as Celeste did. And then we took her into the vets on Friday morning.
Oh, wow. And tell us what the FIP stands for.
It's feline infectious peritonitis, which is actually feline coronavirus.
And it is not the human coronavirus.
It is not.
No.
It is not the human coronavirus.
Right. Okay. Yes, because I know people hear that word and don't hear anything else. So it is a feline virus. Can you tell us what FIP is and what it is not?
There's two forms of FIP. There's the wet form, which generally consists of fluid in the abdomen, fluid in the chest, that is making it very difficult for the animal to breathe. Very similar to human coronavirus.
Okay.
You know, we learned over the last couple of years a lot of the symptoms for that and a lot of the reasons why we lose people, because they can't control the fluid, they can't control the breathing.
Wow.
And the dry form actually forms masses of the actual virus. It can be in the brain, can be in the eyes, and it can affect other organs. It can affect the liver, can affect the kidneys. So they're both dangerous forms. There's no safe form. If I had to choose to treat one or the other, I would probably choose to treat the wet form, which is what Maevis had.
Right.
Because you can see everything. If you take an x-ray, you can see the fluid in her chest.
Wow.
You can see the fluid that builds up in their abdomens. And not that it's easier, but the vets can go in and they can drain that fluid using a large gauge needle and a syringe. Those masses, unless you're doing a high resolution scan, you're never going to see them unless it affects the eyes. And there's a lot of cats where the eyes are affected. So that it almost looks like a feline cold, but it can also affect their direct vision. There can be ulcers on the eyes and that kind of stuff. So again, I personally, the wet isn't easier to cure, but it's easier to find.
Okay.
There's also blood work involved. Unfortunately, 80% of the cases affect cats that are 2 years and younger.
I was going to ask, is there an age bracket for them?
Most common in kittens, 4 to 12 months. There is a vaccine for FIP. The effectiveness of it is not very high. And in most cases, by the time those cats are being vaccinated, they've already got the disease laying dormant in their body. And
at one time, there was no cure, there was no vaccine, there was no treatment for the FIP at one time.
Correct.
So at least we've come this far that there is a
non-approved treatment.
Non-approved treatment. Thank you. Exactly. But just going back real quick. So Companion Animal Veterinary Associates in Middletown, I'm sure they had seen other cases of FIP prior. So when you brought Maevis into them and they did the blood work, did they have any kind of knowledge of maybe that's what it was?
What happened at the initial appointment was prior to taking Maevis up there, she was lethargic and wasn't eating, but was not having any breathing issues. When we took her up, she was we figured it was because of the car ride that she was really kind of having a difficulty breathing. And they went through her exam and they would thought, well, maybe she's just got a little upper respiratory starting or stress type thing. So we weren't really certain that it was that. Neither one of us, at least I hadn't thought that it was something more serious than that until we got home later that night and she was literally sitting open mouth breathing. And we ended up taking her to Delmarva Emergency Veterinary Hospital.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was there that on the way there, we had been in contact with Darian Gregg, who was one of the vet techs that worked at Companion Animal, and Lisa Renee, who has a cat rescue up in Connecticut, that Donna was in touch with them. And they said, yeah, it sounds like it could be FIP, and had already that's when she was dealing with that. I was driving the cat, driving, and she was dealing with that. By the time we got to Delmarva, she told the vet when they came out that we think she may have FIP, and we understand that there's a treatment that's not approved. And they said, well, we'll do what we can. They took her in, and they actually drained 0.25 or 25
25 cc's.
25 cc's of fluid from around heart.
That's a lot for a little kitten.
That's a whole lot.
And they said that she immediately went from looking like she was ready to die to, oh my God, I can breathe. I'm a kitten. I'm running around inside the oxygen tent. She wanted food. She was, the vet came out and said that it was like instantaneous.
Wow. And that's really the beginning of the journey, was right there.
Yes.
And so why don't you walk us through from that? Because it's a long journey. This is not an easy one. This was a long, expensive journey for you.
Well, as we were in contact with both Darian and Lisa, Darian has a cat called Haku that had been treated for FIP.
Okay.
It was successful, so she knew who to contact.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, we are not one of the countries that this treatment is approved. So the vets cannot really recommend it. They can tell you where to look.
Okay.
There are several groups on Facebook, and that's the way most of us find the treatment. And that's the way most of them are organized. They're organized through Facebook groups.
Okay.
There are veterinarians involved. There is a study going on at the University of California to study this treatment. It is approved in other countries. It's just not approved here.
Mm.
Unfortunately, we tend to be, you can look at it like maybe we're more thorough, or you can look at it maybe we're a little bit slower to approve treatments, especially based on the type of drugs that are being used. So, the vet can't say, go ahead and do this, but the vet can say, there are groups out there that will help you.
Well, at least they do that, and that they still want to help whatever way they can. So
Very lucky to have vets that are willing to work with these groups.
Mm-hmm.
He is getting the animal started on the treatment, which can either be injectables or can be pills, as soon as possible.
Okay.
In our case, it was the next morning. We got the ball rolling that night. We got in touch with people. This was 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. And these people on the FIP Facebook groups were willing to talk to us, were willing to let us know where we could find the needed medications.
Wow.
We were very fortunate that there's a local person here in Delaware that happened to have some of what they call the dry treats on hand.
Nice.
And they were able to meet us the next day with those treats. Now, this is where it gets very expensive, because our initial dosage was not very big because she was a small kitten, but the initial outlay was $200.
Wow.
And unfortunately, because it's not an approved treatment, you cannot use things like care credit. You cannot use your credit card. So we had already been probably $2,000 in at that point because of the diagnostics.
Oh, yeah.
You have care credit, and if anybody out there needs an additional way to pay for treatments with their animal, go care credit.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I mean, it's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Insurance wouldn't cover it. So if we had signed her up for pet health insurance, number one, it wouldn't have been in effect yet. And number two, it's not going to be covered.
It's going to cover. No.
So we got in touch with the woman that was local. She got us the initial dosage. We started her on it. They advised us through the Facebook group what we needed to do. We needed to keep weights every single day. We needed to do temperatures. We needed to measure how much she was eating, how much she was drinking. Is she using the litter box? And that journey, that original journey, is an 84-day journey.
84 days.
Yes.
Wow.
Of medications at the exact same time every single day.
Is there a reason why it has to be the exact time every day? Is it time released, or?
It has to do with the medication. Yes.
Okay.
You can't, if you want to change a time, like, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning isn't working and we want to go to 8. It's a process to get them to that time change. So we were able to pick a time. We chose the dry medication because we were still traveling for work. We had vacations
sure.
planned, and it was just easier for our house sitter to handle it that way.
Sure.
Thankfully, Maevis was great. Little bit of what we call a churro. It's a kind of a liquidy sort of a cat treat that almost looks like a child's Go-Gurt. Put the treats in there. She would lick it up and never knew what she had.
Oh my gosh, she's too cute.
But with the injections, it stings at the site.
Ooh, of course.
People will say that it can be more effective. Maybe it is. But then you always need somebody to help you in most cases because somebody needs to hold.
Right.
Somebody needs to do the injection.
And
Right.
you need to change the place that you do
Yeah.
the injection every day.
Yeah.
Cat becomes like a pin cushion.
And would it have been 84 days of shots?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot for everybody. Absolutely. So the
Yeah.
treats are working.
Yeah, they worked perfectly. She had one time where she really wouldn't start to eat again. She was lethargic. She lost a decent amount of weight. She was up to like 5 or 6 pounds. And within 3 or 4 days, she was back down to like 4 or 5 pounds. Fortunately, again, having a relationship with a local vet, we were able to get an appetite stimulant
Oh, wow.
that actually goes right on their ears.
Really?
It's just a little like paste. You put it right on the cat's ear, and generally within 12 hours, their appetite is stimulated, and she was back on track. The other thing is we did it monthly, blood test, blood chemistries, and CBCs. And again, there's another expense. Now, fortunately, we could use our care credit for that because it can be done at the vet.
Okay. All right. So part of it.
But every time we needed treats, we either needed to like wire money, or I was able to do it through, like one of the cash apps.
Right. Right.
But a lot of those, if you don't have a credit card attached to it, then again, it's money out of pocket.
Wow. Yeah.
So all told, we were in for the entire thing about
$5,000. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Between the visits, and I mean, our vet was wonderful. When we needed to take her in, they only charged us for the blood work, and they would do a quick exam. How is she doing? What do we need to do? What do you need on hand? And that is key, having a vet that will accept this treatment, not one that goes, well, it's not recognized, so I can't do anything to help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I agree. Pharmaceutical is a whole nother story, either with humans or with, fur babies, and then doctors who are in business for the money versus why they should be in business and what they're in business for. So absolutely. Oh my gosh. So 84 days in total, $5,000, and she is now considered cured.
Yes, but it's 84 days of treatment.
Oh,
then an additional 84 days of observation, talking about 168 days from start to finish.
And when was her last day of treatment? So how many days in are you into observation?
Last day of treatment was November,
right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right before Thanksgiving, and her last day of observation was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Maevis. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. So she's just fine now.
Yes.
She just graduated. Yeah.
And with all that, so she's gained the weight that she needs to stay healthy with, and no side effects or anything like that.
Last weight, she was over 10 pounds.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I do follow her, like I said, on Facebook, and she was a little peanut from the beginning. And I didn't realize that she's at a good healthy weight. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. So 84 days and treatment and 84 days of observation, and kudos to the both of you, because that is a long ride all around. So as we talked, it is an expensive treatment. Not everybody has, cash readily available. What can people do, and what are people doing for you to help offset some of that, the treatment amount?
Originally, the rescue offered to help us. Fortunately, we're not in a position where we needed a lot of help.
Okay.
And come to find out that they did have another cat at that point from her litter that was diagnosed with FIP, that unfortunately passed away.
Aww.
And we found that news out the same night she was in the hospital.
Oh no.
So she had one other sibling that was infected with it that also passed away, and two others that are fine, just like
Oh,
her.
wow. Well, that's good. That's
You
good.
know, so the treatment makes a difference, certainly in more than 50%. I mean, we're looking at a 50% there, but it's about 85% effective.
Nice. That's a big percentage.
That's a huge
Absolutely.
percentage.
That is a huge percentage. Absolutely. So if somebody, it's so hard, you love your fur babies and you would do anything for them, but not everybody, like I said, has the cash, readily available. So who could somebody turn to help with some funding?
A lot of people will start with like local rescues.
Okay.
They will start with, we are members of a group called Tanner's Endless Love.
And I have heard of them.
Yes. They're a rescue and relief organization, and they will fundraise to help people raise money. Personally, we have donated pills to people to at least get them started.
Okay.
We have tried to raise money. We have a fund through Tanner's called the Maevis Fund.
Okay.
Thankful to Naomi, who makes bow ties called Bow Tie Atticus. And
yes, she does.
The 15th of every month has now become the 15th of every month.
That's right. FIP.
And a portion of Maevis's bow ties are donated to the Maevis Fund to help with that. Even if we can get people started, because you generally see a change within 3 days.
Wow. Wow.
And if they can just get the treatment started, a lot of people will figure out where to find the money.
Yeah, you're right about that. Absolutely. So it's Maevis, the FIP Warrior on Facebook. It's Tanner's Endless Love, which is also on Facebook. And it's tannersendlesslove.org, I believe, for their website.
Correct. Yes.
It is bowtieatticus.org. Naomi Girk, and they are also on Facebook, Instagram. And of course, you want to go to their website to buy the bow ties for Maevis's fund. You can buy more than one. I buy a bow tie. I said to Naomi, she should have a bow tie of the month club.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
She said she's working on it. I said, well, I'll be the first one because I have 4 children and they all have their own fur baby. So I've been buying bow ties for everybody.
Yep.
I'm now involved with a horse rescue and I plan on buying bow ties for them. So
there you go.
There you go. Yep. There you go.
But without the rescues, without I believe it's Linda at Tanner's Endless Love.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Naomi, and we could go on. People who are in this position wouldn't have the ability to say, hey, something's wrong with my fur baby. Can you help out with a fundraiser? And I can't speak highly enough or often enough that it is so important that if you can reach out to one rescue or somebody who's doing a fundraiser, it only takes a few dollars. The bow ties run anywhere, I believe, from $4 up,
right.
And they're all under $10, I believe. Anyway, so
Yeah,
it's a little bit, and the little bit goes a long way. As we were saying, and I have said numerous times, there's the Facebook page for Maevis. And have you any statistics from her page that have helped other people? I'm sure you have your followers.
Yes, I have had 4 people reach out to me. I have reached out to several people right here in Delaware. One woman owns a business. She owns a metaphysical shop, Mandy Stevenson.
Okay.
And she had a cat with kind of off symptoms. She posted on her page that she's just not doing well. The doctors thought it was FIV, but they weren't sure, and then came back with, well, now they think it's FIP and we're going to have to put her to sleep.
Oh.
I messaged her immediately. We got her medication that we had here at the house.
Wow.
Get her fur baby started.
Okay.
Based on, the dosage that the groups gave us. She got her baby started. She was 3 days in. The cat is doing great. And
oh my gosh.
She should just about be finished at the end of this month. Treatment and her observation period.
Yeah.
It's knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely. And, some people might see Maevis's page and might chuckle at it. But if you have already helped somebody with their fur baby, you have succeeded with Maevis's page. And I think that's just awesome. And Maevis, as I keep saying, is the cutest little kitten, but sharing her story, sharing your journey, can and has and will continue to help the next person and their fur baby. So, when you're passing by and you see Maevis, stop and read, because it's important. And as you said, if you don't have the knowledge, you don't know. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I know Maevis's story doesn't end here. I believe there's bigger and greater things for Maevis and for the both of you. So what's next with telling her story?
Next is I'm in touch with a publisher, and we're hoping to write a kid's book about Maevis's journey.
I think that's awesome, because right there is the knowledge is power.
Yes. Because you know what? Kids understand no child wants to lose their pet. No child wants to have to go to the vet. No vet wants to tell a child that we can't fix your cat. And if we can get this book off the ground and we want to keep it affordable, every single penny of it will go to helping other cats.
Oh, that is just great. That is awesome.
It's going to be a while. The publisher that I spoke with, she told me probably 18 months.
Okay.
I'm not giving up.
No.
And the more people that understand it and the more funding that we can come up with from the rescues, even people having to use their credit cards. Yes, it's very expensive to take a cash advance. $5,000 is a lot of money for people. I understand that. And even if we can help them with half of that.
Right.
We can save animals and we can make a difference, because this University of California study, every one of us that's participating through these Facebook groups,
right,
we have charts to keep track of. All of this data is going to UC California.
Oh, wow.
So eventually we're going to get it passed. We're going to get the treatment approved. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be cheaper, but it's going to mean that there's going to be more ways for people to pay for it.
And just having an easier access to it. Yeah. Again,
because right now it's all done through the mail. It's done through the post office, and it's done kind of quietly
under the radar.
Yeah.
So to speak.
They know that the medication is traveling and it's all vet prescribed.
Right.
But because the FDA hasn't approved it for use in cats.
Right.
Our veterinarians can't prescribe it.
No. And so again, going back to knowledge is power, asking the questions and just, exploring every possibility before you decide that you're going to lose your fur baby is so important.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to ask the question, is Maevis excited that you are writing a book about her and her extraordinary journey?
Of course she is.
Yes.
Of course. She's going to have to read it before it goes to the publisher, and she's going to have to approve things. We had a professional picture done with a photographer at one of the stores that I work for at Yarn and Bone. So that's going to be her glamour shot.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
And she approved that one. She was okay with it.
I love it.
Key is not to upsetting them even at this point, because while she's considered cured, it doesn't mean that she can't relapse, not necessarily become positive again, but there's still a chance that, she can build up a little bit more fluid, or there's still a chance she happens to have a heart that lays deeper in her chest than a lot. So it lays almost on her breastplate.
Wow.
That's not a great thing. So we can't stress her out too much.
Right.
So she was fine to travel to the store. It was a very quiet area. We got the pictures taken.
Nice.
And they did great. The woman, her company is called Shutterbug.
I'm
sorry, Shutter Up. It's Shutter Up.
Shutter Up. I like it.
And she's fantastic. She took the time with her. There were no other animals there. And she did a beautiful job. If you go to Maevis's page, you'll see her glamour shot.
Oh my gosh. Now, Shutter Up, local to Smyrna, Dover?
Local to Delaware. She's a Delaware company.
All around. Yes. Okay. And will Maevis be helping you write that book? Will she be right by your side?
Of course.
She's by her side right now.
Is she there? So she still has to, like you said, she's still healing. She still has to be a little bit guarded. And
they won't ever do vaccines. They don't ever want her vaccinated.
Okay.
Because you don't want to you don't want to excite or overstimulate their immune system.
Okay. Oh, all right. I didn't know.
The only thing we may have done at some point is a rabies vaccine, because that doesn't really affect their immune system. But as far as feline leukemia vaccines,
Just
regular
leave it alone.
distemper vaccines, we won't do that.
All right. So what would you like people to take away from Maevis's story?
Talk to people. I think key for everybody, just like we would do it ourselves, just because maybe your vet says, oh, there's no cure for this cat, ask around. I don't believe everything I read on social media, but social media brings everybody together.
Absolutely.
Whether you're dealing with Instagram, whether you're dealing with Facebook, whether you're dealing with any one of these groups, be dedicated. Dedicate your time to your cat. Dedicate your time to helping other people with their cats or even with their dogs. You need a commitment. You need your friends committed to helping. If we're going away, we needed a trustworthy house sitter, which we have.
Jessica
Awesome.
Lane.
She's been sitting for us for years.
Yeah, we love Jess.
You need funding. You need help. Yes, is it a great idea to maybe, get the word out there, let people know, care credits, your rescue groups, they're all willing to help these animals. Experience. We need people helping each other. Talk to people.
Absolutely. And even if you don't know what you're looking for, when you start talking about the symptoms as somebody had done and you reached out to them, that's where everybody comes together. It takes, as you were saying, it takes a village. It takes a village.
Yes, it does.
We had someone from California reach out to us a couple weeks ago, and we were able to get them in touch with an FIP group out in California.
Wow.
Told them, UC Davis is doing a study. You need to get in touch with them. And so that's what it's all about, is just
absolutely
let's build bridges.
So if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way to get in contact with you? Through the Facebook Maevis's page?
Through Maevis's page.
Okay, so that's Maevis the FIP Warrior on Facebook, and you can reach out to EJ Elaine Johnson or Donna Cheatham. And I want to thank both of you for allowing me to share Maevis's story through the both of you. I am really excited to see this little fur ball when the book is published. So I'm hoping that maybe when we get to that 18 months or sooner, we can get back together, and I would love to interview you before the book launches.
Awesome. Okay. We would love that.
That would be awesome. All right. So we want to thank tell me the vet's name again.
Dr. Crozier, Dr. Michelle Crozier at Companion Animal Veterinary.
And then you had some other people involved. We had Naomi Girk. You had Tanner's Endless Love. You had some vet techs. Darian Gregg. And our house sitter, Jessica Lane. Nice. And Shut Her Up.
Yes.
Shut Her Up.
Thank you to everybody. And again, we're going to get back together after this. So thank you. Sure. You both have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Women Entrepreneurs Spotlight. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. For updates on my next interview, follow me on Facebook at Woman Entrepreneurs Spotlight. Until then, keep being awesome.